Hey, it's Clay at claycharter.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, August 29th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick you see right there will be moving around still. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, ticker symbol GNS. Very, very impressive day today and has a nice pattern here forming as we head into Tuesday. So let's get a couple of these dynamics mapped out here. First key level to watch, at least in my opinion, going to be this trend line right here. You can see that there's been a bit of a pullback here. Let me try. There we go. Bit of a pullback. Recently in the late afternoon, nothing drastic or anything like that. So in all actuality, I think that sets up very nicely because some people, and maybe you would disagree, and that's fine, but some people are thinking, is this a cup and handle here where we have the handle here forming and now it's looking for the price to go upwards? Like I said, maybe you would not agree with that analysis, but in my opinion, I can see maybe we'll call it a poor man's cup and handle, but there's that nice little dynamic that's taking place. But pointer being right around the trend line here around $2.35, give or take, is going to be a key battleground to watch from a resistance standpoint. And then as far as supports are concerned, key level, at least in my opinion, to watch if there is any sort of deeper pullback right down here around the $1.97 mark. So I'll change that to represent more so support. And then maybe to keep this a bigger picture standpoint, so we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move here. Put the golf hole down here for you golfers, make it a little bit more visual, a bull pennant pattern. So bull pennant, cup and handle, like I said, several different ways you can look at it. But at the end of the day, I think the one common denominator that most people can agree with is keep an eye on that resistance trend line right there. But all in all, great start to the week, big volume, nice price movement. So let's see how this one continues to play out. Next one, ticker symbol GOEV, and very nice mover here on this one for those of you that like to play penny stocks. And as I talk right now, there's seemingly a level of resistance here that has formed right here at the 64.5 cent mark. So 64.5 cents right there. Broadly speaking, price has gotten up around that area late this afternoon, and then you can see kind of just gone sideways right below it. And you got to think a lot of people are watching that level, and when lots of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee, is it plausible to think that if the price gets back up through that level, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So keep a close eye on that if there is any sort of turnaround. And then once again, for those of you that like to play more so the pullbacks, I think an interesting trend line right there to keep an eye on. And then again, from the bigger picture point of view, for those of you that like to play patterns, have ourselves another bull pennant pattern right there, very crudely drawn, but just to illustrate the general idea here. But overall, like I said, big movement today. All this occurring on good, solid volume. The week is young, so let's see how things continue to play out. Next one, MCOM. No need to beat around the bush. An absolutely disgusting, nasty looking chart. But for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. And that's what we have here. A very ugly situation. But within the ugly, the price has now brought itself down to a very interesting situation down here at 0.066. So let me change that to represent more so the support. And just going through the history of things to better point out why this area is intriguing. As you can see, last time the price got down around here, consolidated nicely, and then got a nice bounce. And once again, the price essentially went down there and bounced off that level. So the question mark, at least in my mind going forward, is does history repeat itself? Can the price at least start to, kind of chop around here before getting some sort of bounce back up? Now, does it go back up that high again? I'm not going to make that claim, but let's say it even goes halfway up. That'd be a very, very impressive looking gain there, especially compared to what is being risked. So this does all assume that you're going to be managing risk and you're able to, honor those stop loss and all that sort of stuff. Because, to be fair, maybe this pullback that's been occurring is just going to keep bleeding. And that's why you don't want to turn into a bag holder. You got to be able to manage that risk. But again, if you do get some sort of bounce back in the upwards direction, then relative to what's being risked, you could be looking at a very nice reward. So just a classic risk versus reward scenario on a chart that's looking very ugly. And many times when things look ugly and things don't seem to be able to get any, worse, that's when all of a sudden they just turn around. And that's kind of one of these sort of situations right here. So if you like stocks that are down below that 10 cent mark, you like these potential ugly opportunities, then keep an eye on it. Next one, ticker symbol HE, Hawaiian Electric getting all sorts of drama. And today, after looking like it was going to be game over on Friday, all of a sudden today, company starts to fight back, big gap up, and we have ourselves a good solid pattern here once again. Nothing new in terms of what you've heard. You've heard this pattern already, and we have another classic example. I'd say the biggest difference here is just that it's on a higher range stock. So maybe someone that's like, I don't really like penny stocks. Well, here you go. This is not a penny stock. So let me get this pattern here drawn out, just so we can keep us all on the same page. And then because I can't help myself, let me just turn it into one color again. So we have our resistance, we have our support, you have the big explosion right here, you have the golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern, and the price is very, closely right now knocking on the door of that upper part. So can it get the break and then create that much more buying pressure? Certainly a very interesting scenario here headed into Tuesday. AMC just continues to bleed and bleed and bleed. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines here. I thought there might be some potential hope, but no, this thing never really even, on the bright side, at least it didn't act like it wanted to be strong and then keep on going. It just essentially has continued to bleed further and further, but it is a cult stock. A lot of eyeballs watching it. And, you got to think that at any sort of, potential good news that the people are looking to buy, but a very real possibility on this one is people they're out of money. They're tapped out. So people maybe would want to buy. They're looking for any excuse to buy. But they're just out of money at this point because this thing has really been a slaughter fest, especially after the reverse split. And then after the reverse split, this thing has continued to go down and down and down, which just, exponentially creates more slaughter based on the math of how reverse splits work. And if you're curious about that, let me know down in the comment section. I'll link you to a video that explains better reverse splits and why they're so nasty. But like I said, from a technical point of view, I think this trend line here is something that's worth keeping an eye on because one of those things where if it can break up through there, then does that create some sort of bounce, even if it's just a dead cat bounce from a trading standpoint? Sometimes that's all you need. You just need a dead cat to bounce a little bit, and you can turn that into some pretty profitable trade plans. And then as far as supports are concerned, going to keep an eye on that area right there to see if it does roll back over. Does it potentially get a bounce off that area? But all in all, yeah, that bleeding continues. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online web class that I'm offering here in a few days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, GDC, and I should have put this at another spot because same general idea of, yes, this is an ugly looking chart, but there can be opportunity in the ugly, and the opportunity, in my opinion, at least, is down here at these moving averages. You have the pink line there, which is the very famous 200-period moving average. You have the purple line being the very famous 50-period moving average, and then you can see right here, they're basically right on top of one another. So does that guarantee anything? Of course not. There are no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that the price could come down to those areas and then get some sort of bounce back upwards? Yeah, that is certainly a plausible, scenario. So once more, from a risk management perspective, you better be willing to manage that risk. But risk reward wise, if you do get some sort of bounce, then yeah, relative to what's being risked, you could be looking at a very nice situation. So like I said, if you like these sorts of scenarios, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and overall a fine day. Now, granted, there's a little bit of perspective. I understand if you're a day trader and you bought during the opening 30 minutes when the price was right there, then yeah, not a good looking day for you. But assuming you care about more so the bigger picture point of view, everything's looking perfectly fine. From a resistance standpoint, it does seem as though there's a bit of a potential area of resistance right here at this area at $240.50, essentially apparently kind of, the top part of this little consolidation pattern right here. If the price does pull backwards, then backwards just, I guess, pull back. You have these moving averages right here, which I just talked about. You can see right here, pink line has done a fantastic job of holding strong. So if the price does come back down there, does that mean that it'll for sure hold strong again? It does not, but that would at least be a plausible thought process on your part to say, well, it's held strong a couple times before. I could see it holding strong again. And that, again, nobody could accuse you of just randomly picking some sort of thought process. There's good technical, reasoning behind that. But overall, I think the most interesting dynamic here is right up there with the 240.50 mark and seeing if the price can push up through there or not. Next one, AMD, and not a whole lot to report. This will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video from last week, but if you did, talked about that level of support down there right around the 101 mark, I guess 187 to be exact. And you can see that earlier on in the day, the price came down there, and to give credit's due, bounced right off that level. So good to see that the bulls are holding strong there. And also a classic example of the power of charts. I promise I have not put that line there. If you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back and watch last week's video and you'll see I put that video there. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Definitely go get signed up for that free class. But I do want to add in one more area of support because, it seems as though this is going to be a very important, support zone moving forward. So we have the top part of the support zone at 187. Bottom of it, 99.54, but let's just make it easier. 101, top of the support zone right there, and then bottom of the support zone, 99.50. And you can see that if the price does go down there, no guarantees. And I know I repeat that, but I just want to hammer that home. There are no guarantees, but is it valid to think that if the price enters back into that range, that it could find some support? In my opinion, that seems like a very plausible scenario on your part. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, continue to watch that purple line there, 50 period moving average. And if the price can push up through that level, then that could, definitely spark some more momentum back in the upwards direction. Next one, PLTR, and overall good day, nothing explosive, but it, held its gains and it's working on building those higher bases. And sometimes that's really all I can ask for. Just show me some higher bases, and that's what was accomplished here. So get a couple of dynamics here, put it into play, which I think a lot of people have probably there we go. Have drawn this line here by connecting these couple areas right there as that first main area of resistance. Now, don't get me wrong. If the price comes up here and breaks that level, that's certainly a great step in the right direction. But I wouldn't get too excited about it because not that far away, looming overhead, is that pink line up there, the 200 period moving average. So again, breaking that level, fantastic. Good step in the right direction, but don't go throw your college tuition money into it because not that far away, you'd have a level up there that could very credibly, knock the price back down also. But all in all, like I said, good day here. Nothing explosive, but it's setting up nice. So we'll see if it can slowly continue to grind moving forward. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to rise, this one will also rise. And we're sitting at a very, very exciting spot right now. And that's what a watch list is all about, finding exciting situations and not randomly rushing out and buying stuff, but watching and see what happens. And at least in my opinion, you're more than welcome to disagree. Maybe you don't find this very exciting, but look at the battle currently going on with that pink line, which you now know is that 200 period moving average. Started off today, did battle, got knocked back down. Mid-afternoon, another couple battles, knocked back down. And then right now you can see the price is basically right at that level on good solid volume. So all these dynamics combined, like I said, especially the fact that the price is here, all this occurred on the higher volume, brings up a very, fun question to be asking. Okay, is this finally the break? Is this finally the time where the price gets some separation and gets some momentum to the upside? To be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing once again just rolls right back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, maybe it is the start of a bigger breakout, and this thing really builds a lot more momentum on Tuesday and in the coming days. But anyway, look at it. Like I said, if you find this as a very interesting dynamic right now, what's going to happen with that level there that's been struggling with, I definitely keep an eye on this one, and I think it'll be a good indicator for the overall NASDAQ. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live class. It'll be later this week, Thursday, August 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely go get signed up for that. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me that really help out the channel, and I appreciate it. Hit that like button, leave a comment, even if it's just say hi or tell me what you traded today or what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things really do help out. And as long as you know people are enjoying these top 10 lists, I'll continue to put this content out for you. So again, go get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.